So, Caitlin Clark, it has been revealed that Ice Cube offered her $1.5 million per game. And this is my favorite thing, is that the big three will use Caitlin Clark in every bit of their promotion.
Caitlin Clark, the player who single-handedly pulled women's basketball out of shadows and into prime time, just turned down a $15 million offer from the Big Three League. The WNBA may have breathed a collective sigh of relief, but cores of envious players still insist they deserve equal spotlight in a story that simply wouldn't exist without her.
Caitlin Clark, did you turn down $15 million? Oh, that's a boss move. Oh, that's a crazy boss move. I understand. You got Nike deals. You got freaking PGA Golf Tour, Live Golf Tour. You got hockey sponsor. I know you got a lot going on, but to turn down 15 M's, unrivaled. If y'all thought a few million and some equity was going to get her to show up and play in your league, you got another.
This isn't just about money. It's about a 23-year-old phenom choosing loyalty over luxury, fans over fortune, and the future of women's basketball over personal gain. While her WNBA peers top out at $249, $244 a year, Clark turned down enough cash to buy a private island, or at the very least, a mansion with its own full-size court out back.
The $15 million. That's life-changing money for anyone, let alone a rookie athlete. So where did this unbelievable offer come from, and why on earth would Caitlin Clark turn it down? So the offer, as you guys can see on the article on the screen, was from the Big Three, the 3-on-3 basketball league founded by the one and only Ice Cube. And the first offer was already huge, a cool $5 million ball. But in a sign of just how desperate they were to get Clark, they tripled it, blowing it up to a massive 50.
Ice Cube's Big Three League didn't come to Clark with pocket change. They opened at $5 million, then tripled the offer to a staggering $15 million for just 10 weeks of play. That's $1.5 million per game. Most WNBA players would have to grind for 60 years to make what Clark was offered for one afternoon on the court.
Caitlin Clark, the Big Three reportedly offered Caitlin Clark $15 million for 10 games. For 10 games. That is insane. That's wild. And it says she declined. That's a lot of chicken to turn down. I can't lie to you. I literally can't. I can't. That is insane. I don't know, bro. $15 million for 10 games. Whoo. Woo.
The WNBA went into full-blown panic mode, cycling through every stage of grief in just 72 hours. First came denial. No way their golden goose would actually leave. Then anger. How dare someone offer their brightest star real money when the league can barely crack six figures? Bargaining followed. Maybe, just maybe, they could piece together a bigger payday with marketing deals and endorsements. Then came depression. The gut punch realization that Clark could make in 10 weeks what their entire team's salary cap couldn't touch. Finally, acceptance arrived, wrapped in the sweetest, most desperate relief the league had ever felt.
Down. Caitlin Clark, you so much better than me. The WNBA would have never, hey listen, I would have never stepped foot on that court. $1.5 million per game. Bron don't even make that. And you turned it down for her contract in the WNBA, she gonna make like $400,000 in 4 years. That's the part that I don't really understand about WNBA players. They make so much bread everywhere else. They be making more bread in college. They make more bread overseas. They can make more in Unrivaled, the Big Three. There's so many options, but they still be playing in the WNBA. I don't get it. Go on strike, bro. If there's money like this available, go get it, bro. Don't be loyal to a league that's not.
If you're enjoying this, make sure to subscribe. Clark said no. She chose them. Chose the grind of a humid 82-degree gym in Indiana over whatever glitz the Big Three dangled in front of her. The WNBA didn't just dodge a bullet. They dodged a financial nuclear bomb that would have left them scrambling to explain why their most valuable asset packed up her talents for wherever Ice Cube is running games these days. Meanwhile, as Clark made arguably the most selfless decision in modern sports, her peers were busy crunching the cruel math of reality. The current WNBA salary cap sits at a humble $1, $571,000 for an entire roster of 11 to 12 players. Clark's Big Three offer would have burned through nearly 10 times that for a single player for just 10 games. The numbers aren't just lopsided, they're an insult to arithmetic itself.
If you want a good example of what it looks like when people are jealous of you, look at Caitlin Clark. She is undeniably a great basketball player. That is just a fact. Now, there have been a lot of great basketball players before her, and there will be after her. But what we do know is that she is getting a ton of recognition, and that breeds jealousy. When you shine bright and you're really great at what you do, people come for you more because you are great. Notice how much friction there is on the court. There is always someone going up against her. There's always people taking personal offense to her.
Now, let's address the elephant in the arena, jealousy. Dick Vitale, a man who's forgotten more basketball than most players will ever learn, called exactly what it is, pure envy, when Clark was voted only ninth among guards by her fellow WNBA players. Despite leading the fan vote and ranking third with the media, the message couldn't have been clearer. These players would sooner cut off their shooting hands than admit Clark has single-handedly elevated their entire sport.
The WNBA's jealousy of Caitlin Clark has never been more obvious as players vote her the 9th best guard. Yes, you read that right, bro. The WNBA just had their All-Star vote in return, and the players voted Caitlin Clark as the 9th best guard in the league. Mind you, this is the same Caitlin Clark that came in breaking every record. She putting up numbers that have never been done in WNBA history. She literally has the entire league on her back. Look down here. This is how many votes she got from the fans. Look, she got 1.2 million All-Star votes. Not only is that a WNBA record, but it breaks her own record from last year when she got 700,000 as a rookie. And this, look, for reference, the top 30 vote getters for the 2023 All-Star Game got 1.7 million.
Meanwhile, Clark's actual WNBA salary is a cosmic punchline. She's pulling in $78, $668 this season, less than what some people drop on a luxury car, while literally driving 27% of the league's entire economic engine. One Indiana University economist calculated she generated $36 million in economic impact for Indianapolis alone during her rookie year. She's producing the kind of revenue that could prop up a small country, and the WNBA is compensating her like she's managing the night shift at Dairy Queen. And through all this chaos, Clark's response has been nothing short of brilliant. While players like Aya Wilson are leaking their own contract figures just to stay in the conversation, Clark is joking about refusing to pay $10 for airplane Wi-Fi because she's a little cheap. This is a woman who just turned down $15 million, and she's worried about in-flight internet. That's not just humble, that's next level. What makes her decision even more extraordinary is the path she didn't take. She could have said, screw it, to the entire WNBA ecosystem. Most people would have. This is a league that underpays her by orders of magnitude, peers who resent her success, and media that endlessly questions whether she deserves the spotlight. Any rational person would have taken the money and run. But Caitlin Clark doesn't operate on traditional logic, and that's exactly why the game and the league can't afford to lose her.
Her endorsement deals must be pretty decent for her to willingly turn that down, because we know her WNBA salary is nothing to brag about. But for her to do that, I guess I look at it like this. If she were to have accepted that before she even stepped foot on a WNBA court, I could only imagine how they would have treated her. I don't even think she would have made it through half the season. She would have had a season-ending injury for sure. With how rough they were treating her as a rookie and fouling her and just being aggressive with her in comparison to other players, I don't think she would have made it through the season as a rookie. So I guess in a sense that may be a blessing in disguise. It's hard to say a blessing in disguise when you lose out on 15 M's, but nobody knows. That may have been a blessing in disguise.
She knows her value isn't just in dollars and cents. It's in the little girls now dreaming of hitting logo threes, and the moms planning family nights around WNBA games. Clark sees the bigger picture, building something sustainable for women's basketball in America, not just cashing in on a fleeting moment. And the reality of what she's built doesn't get talked about nearly enough, because the numbers are staggering. Her debut drew 2.1 million viewers, the biggest WNBA audience in over 20 years. Games featuring Clark have shattered attendance records that stood since the league's birth. The Indiana Fever, who managed just 81,000 fans in all of 2023, topped that in their first 5 home games with Clark on the roster. When the Mystics Fever matchup got bumped from a 4,100-seat venue to a 20,300-seat arena and still sold out, it wasn't just a basketball game anymore. It was a cultural event. Families drove in from other states. Kids wore Clark jerseys to school. Suddenly, women's basketball became a water cooler topic in offices across America. But maybe the most telling stat of all, WNBA merchandise sales jumped 236% year over year. Not 36% to 236%. That's not growth. That's a full-on economic explosion. And it all traces back to one player who decided that building something permanent mattered more than chasing the biggest check on the table.
They're trying to destroy her from within, and it's the players. Realistically, I know we're out of time. WNBA last year was the first year in its like 25, 30-year existence that it was profitable. Made $1 million. But it was the first time that it didn't lose money because the NBA supplements. When Caitlin Clark comes to town, you have to go from the 8,000-seat WNBA arena to the 30,000-seat whatever arena across town because of ticket sales and all of the apparel and all of this stuff that's coming from Caitlin Clark, and you're just like, okay, but the league is totally destroyed.
While Clark was busy turning down generational wealth, plenty of WNBA players were busy staring at their own underwhelming paychecks. The league's highest paid player makes $249, $244 a year, about what Clark was offered per game by the Big Three. The salary cap locks everyone into that ceiling, which means the WNBA's entire pay structure simply can't pay its stars what they're truly worth. That's why players like Kelsey Mitchell, sitting at the top of the pay scale, and Jackie Young, on a $154, 902-year deal, can't help but look at Clark's rejected offer with a mix of awe and envy. They're grinding for what amounts to rounding errors compared to what Clark could have earned by jumping leagues. But here's the beautiful irony. Clark's decision to stay is the very reason those salaries might finally rise. The upcoming CBA talks project maximum salaries could reach $1 million, a 300% jump from today's numbers. And that's only possible because Clark chose to build a brand instead of cashing out for instant gratification.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the meetings that are going to happen in Indianapolis are going to be really important. And, although I'm not our team rep or on the committee, like I'm still, trying to understand and engage as much as possible. Obviously, this is my second year in the league, but also this is like a very important time for our league and where it's going to continue to grow. So, I'm certainly looking forward to those meetings and being in them. And I think everybody in our league is to help these CBA talks continue to move forward. So, should be very important for us on Thursday. Yes, I'll be there.
You've played in NBA.
When Caitlin Clark announced she was staying in the WNBA, you can bet front office executives needed medical clearance for stress-induced heart palpitations. The league has been riding the Caitlin Clark wave since her college days, and losing her would have been like losing the engine while the plane was still climbing. Every TV contract, every sponsorship deal, every expansion team shelling out hundreds of millions to join the league, all of it traces back to the phenomenon Clark created. She didn't just raise the profile of women's basketball. She rewired the business model. The WNBA transformed from a barely sustainable niche product into a legitimate entertainment property that now competes with major men's sports for attention at Clark's rookie card sold at auction for $660, 000, more than her entire 4-year WNBA contract. That's not just a collectible. That's cultural impact in its purest form. When a piece of cardboard with someone's picture on it is worth more than the salary they're paid to actually play, you don't just have a market imbalance. You've got a compensation structure completely detached from reality.
Look, she's smarter than a lot of people think at the end of the day, and I'm pretty sure she has a lot of stock options. You hear me? She's the face of the league. That lets me know y'all going out y'all way to get her to come play for y'all, whatever y'all built. You know what I'm saying? And that's cool. But at the end of the day, her focus is the WNBA. Nobody can't tell me that she ain't the face of the league. Matter of fact, since she turned it down, how about you go get Angel Reese? I know, because she ain't worth nothing more than a Popeye's chicken sandwich.
This story was never really about money. It's about vision. Caitlin Clark saw the opportunity to transform women's basketball from a charity case into a legitimate entertainment powerhouse, and she chose to stay and finish what she started. While jealous peers complain about equal billing and a narrative that wouldn't even exist without her, Clark remains focused on the only thing that matters, building something that will outlast all their careers combined. For now, the WNBA can breathe. Their golden goose isn't flying the coop yet, but they better figure out how to fairly compensate the woman who single-handedly saved their league before someone else shows up with an offer too big to ignore. Because next time, even Caitlin Clark's legendary loyalty may not be enough to outweigh the simple math of being worth $1 billion and paid like a recent college grad. The panic may have passed, but the lesson stands. Sometimes the most valuable player isn't the one demanding the biggest check. It's the one willing to sacrifice personal gain to build something greater than themselves. Caitlin Clark just proved that champions aren't only made on the court. Sometimes they're made by walking away from the biggest payday of their lives to chase something far more valuable.